Hey, so I've been trying to figure out a way to state this as best I can. So bear with me if it starts droning on or whatever. I'm not trying to, just getting out as best I can. If I don't, I'm going to forget it. So I've been thinking about equality and how men and women see both parts. We'll see things differently. Um, we'll disagree, the obvious stuff. What I'm looking at is how many people say that they want equality. And some people explain it as you want the idea of equality. I'm kind of looking at it just from a personal perspective as equality already exists. The concept has to be there first before the actual uh, action of it or practice can be put there. And I think when we look at equality, we want equality of outcome or we want everything to just stay equally balanced. It's a good idea, bad idea type thing. There's the positives with it and the negative or the drawbacks, withdrawals. But even positive can turn into a negative by adding to itself too much. And I think what we need to look at is equality is about making equality happen, not wanting it to happen. We have to pay attention more to what equal actually means, and that includes the good and the bad. You could have an equally sad state of numbers of people under slavery. You can have an equally good amount of people that are starving. You can have an equally good amount, and when I say good amount, I mean a number that is able to be referenced with what's there, what's happening, a good idea. Using the word good here for trying to explain good in this sense can be confusing. I think I'm hearing that. But having that understanding of what you're looking at is why you want to understand the balance between both parts of balance of equal. Equal takes me back to just math. What is the total? What does all these problems or this equation, what is it total? And if you kind of look at it like that with other things, balancing out people in general, well, we are of sets of numbers. We aren't numbers, we're just parts of groups or sets. And we don't join them all the time. We're just grouped into categories because that's how we define, get the definitions, describe. That's how we see it. And so, what I think we want, if we think about it, when we think about it, when we understand it, and this doesn't speak for everybody, but in time, I think everybody can come to the same conclusion. In order to make something happen, we have to get the theory out there. And if we look at which direction the theory goes, practical, not what are we going to make happen, but what will just fit into the plans the way that plans go, we'll see the end result better. We'll see how it works and how it doesn't work. We'll see what's missing. But I think the best way to see things happen, to get an idea about how to make it work, is to get experience in the situation you want fixed, putting yourself there. You have to get that experience in order to make it work properly and beneficially. And the only way we get benefit is through drawbacks. Because let's face it, if you were already benefiting, you wouldn't have any drawbacks. And benefit comes from drawback. Drawback comes from neutral. It just is or isn't. And if something is sustaining itself, like you're getting up every day, you're going out every day, you're eating every day, sleeping every day, anything that takes away from any of those things is a drawback. But because it was maintained, because you just kept it going, well, you had to have benefit to keep it. So it's kind of like a cycle. But nothing exists for us individually in the beginning. We acquire. We acquire life. We acquire a sense of intelligence, understanding. We acquire a sense of lifestyle, of how we socialize. So, in order to get equality, we have to have exposure. We have to actually put ourselves there, or at least be allowed to be a part of something. Because sometimes we can go and do things without any say so by anybody else. And sometimes we have to be allowed or invited, like getting into a theme park where if you don't have the money, you can be invited by somebody else who pays for you, or you pay for it yourself. Or you can just go to the park, all you can afford is free. But the fact is, you expose yourself to being in those places. Grocery store, any retailer, Walmart, Target, sporting goods store, movie theater, sporting event, fighting match, anything. I mean, as a kid, you had exposure in school. And for those kids out there that see this video, you see how diverse it really is. And if that brings up actually another point too. If we all experienced going to school, at least from when I was younger, the 70s and up, I mean, millennials, you're in a new century, and everybody past your point that's been born recently, I don't know of any one school that wasn't equal, that wasn't already diverse. So to me, I kept silently, non social network, non posted video. If we already had diversity, because let's face it, a lot of you wouldn't complain about white kids out there if they weren't already where you were at. You had no exposure to them. There weren't any Asian kids, Mexican kids, Hispanic kids of any kind. Anybody from any nationality, any country, any race, if they weren't already at the places you were already at, how is it not diverse? How is it not equal? But then that proves my point. Everybody had exposure. Everybody got the experience. See, the theory was to get as many people working together in an environment through incentive. Pay seemed to be the most practical. And while, yeah, we have had differences in this country and every other country apparently about racial inequality, what's unequal about treating other people badly? See, positive with the negative. You got to learn from yourself by learning from the world. You get no exposure to the world, you're going to let anybody who comes along tell you what the world is and what to expect. But if you don't go out there, you're going to let anybody tell you anything, and you're going to believe them, because trust has to be used with other people. Other people have to exist. And while you may not like a faction of people, black, white, brown, whatever their color, you got people of your own nationality, Hispanic, European, Asian, American, that have different colors. I don't think it's about being colorblind. I think it's about seeing as many colors as possible. Even blind people have their own way of seeing colors. Because what do blind people have that everybody else has? Perspective. A brain. a mind. We want equality, we have to literally build it. Whereas the universe creates balance. See, balance is about making things way even on both sides. It's not about looking the same or being the same. It's about allowing opposites, differences to exist. That's why the world is so small and space is so big. Why the world is so big and we are so small. That's why the moon, being smaller than the earth, you just look it up, orbits the earth. It balances us from tilting in any one direction, causing our seasons to be erratic. We could keep track of the months, but we wouldn't know what type of weather to adjust for if the moon wasn't there. Look it up. And the fact is, equality is about exposure, experience, and personal awareness of self. You can't be a better person or claim to be a better person if all you do is expose yourself as being angry and hateful towards any person for any one thing you find that you don't like about them. Now, there are universal truths about what can harm people, but not liking somebody for something about them or something they have, and then putting them down, mocking them for that, trying to say that what they have is dangerous, like, oh, say, I don't know, a hat with words on it. Really? A hat with words on it. Kind of the same argument with guns don't kill people, people kill people. Okay. It's a given, but the gun can be dropped and go off on accident, so it'll cause more hurt and pain. Drop a hat. Throw a hat. It might cause some damage. Might just distract somebody. A hat is only as dangerous as the person wearing it. See, so that means that we have to be aware of people's personalities. If you didn't understand that before, that's why we look at the personality, not just look at the person and not like them because they don't think the same way we do. You've been around other people who don't think the same way you do, but they've helped you get through your things that you had problems with, and specific people in specific places. So the fact is, we need to go out there more. While technology is great, we don't see each other's faces unless it's on a screen. We don't treat people like people because we've adopted this idea that people are only there if we are family, friend, socially hung around. You basically are exposing yourself to the people that you have to interact with. But the world exists outside of ourselves. You know, as much as you are you, you are also other. You are other to that person who is them. See, that's where the pronouns should just stay. A description only, not a self-description. We already have self-describers. All of these pronouns is just overthinking. It causes more stress. That's why people don't want to use them. If we care about other people, we care that they succeed in life, as long as they don't hurt others to do it. At least not voluntarily. Accidents happen. But we need to recognize what an accident is from intent. And people who are trying to get away with things, well, we can almost always guarantee that it's no accident. But sometimes it is. So we need to use the only type of overthinking that's necessary in this world to balance and maintain equal. equality. We need to be detectives when it comes to overthinking. Everything else doesn't matter to us living our lives. Don't give yourself too much to stress about. Give yourself what you need to create the world in the way it needs to be by allowing people to just be who they are. Too many people out there to be in control of any one person. Why give yourself that burden and responsibility? Just balance the world. Pay attention to what people need because they'll ask for it. But don't try to be for the world. Just help each other. But that's my food for thought for today. I hope you learned something from it, got something out of it. If not, then there's time. You'll learn what you need to. I will see you next time. Take it easy.